What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. This story's called, You're Not Allowed to Use This Elevator. I work at an IT firm, and we have an office in a penthouse of a 30-floor building. I usually just use the express elevator, 20 to 30, to skip over the lower floors, but one day, the building decided to put an elevator attendant, and I had a weird encounter. You're not allowed to use this elevator, the attendant said with a soft yet stern voice. Sorry? I responded. I'm quite confused. All employees must use the service elevator, she explained. By the way, the service elevators are behind the building. I had to go out again and enter from the rear entrance. I had never used it before, but I heard it's supposed to stop on every floor for the whole 30 floors. But this is a commercial building? Everyone going up these elevators are employees, unless maybe I'm the owner, but then I would use the VIP elevators instead. I chuckled a bit. I just found it interesting. But I think I managed to hit a nerve cause she raised her voice in response. Don't be such a smart booty. Move along or I'll report you to your station. She took her walkie-talkie and threatened to phone me in. Okay. I didn't want to have any confrontation early in the morning, so I just stepped back. I'm a little early today, and so I just went to the lobby and asked the staff from the front desk if they changed some rules regarding the elevators. I told her my story. I don't want to be breaking any new rules, but isn't it harsh to force us to use service elevator? Also, we never even received any notice? I told her as soon as I finished my story. We got strict new rules implemented regarding our elevator policy. May I see your ID? I will call your station manager to verify if your department received the memo. She politely responded. So I gave her my ID. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. This is just a big misunderstanding. I'm sorry. She immediately asked some staff roaming around to accompany me back to the elevator and see to it that I was allowed to get in. This way, sir, said the staff. Then he proceeded to treat me as if I'm new to the building and did not know the way, guiding me on every turn. I'm quite offended they didn't even give me any explanation, but I just let it go. I used a different elevator, and this other attendant tried to stop me again from entering, but the staff stopped her and he whispered something to her. She immediately greeted me with pleasure and apologized for the delay and pressed the floor I was supposed to go to without asking me where. The curiosity is killing me. I must know what really happened. I think they should at least give me some form of explanation. Gladly, I was the only passenger, so I asked the attendant, "What really happened here? Care to explain?" I asked. I'm sorry, sir, it's just a misunderstanding. You see, we are quite new, and we were not instructed to always check for IDs first. She replied with a quiver in her voice. And? I'm still confused. It's just, we're told the building employees are no longer allowed to use express elevator. The other attendants may have mistaken you for one? She hastily explained. Ding, the elevator stopped without me understanding it yet. So I just left and went on. A janitor mopping the floor greeted me as I walked by. I greeted him back. Nice shirt, I said. New uniform, he replied. Finally connected the dots. I didn't think about it at all immediately, probably because I never had my morning coffee yet. We don't have a strict dress code, and I don't wear business clothing. And I'm currently wearing a shirt that looked exactly like their new gray uniform. I see. I chuckled. Note to self. Never use this shirt again for work. First of all, let's appreciate how understanding this dude was and how polite he was, with a severe inconvenience, okay? That would tick me off too, but let's appreciate how kind this guy was. I know for a fact that he could have easily destroyed that elevator attendant's emotions. But yeah, I feel like that's something you should tell people that, are tenants of your building. This story's called, Cancer Patient's Mom Should Do Your Job. In late 2018, I was diagnosed with stage 4 tongue cancer. In early 2019, I had surgery to get it removed. Basically, losing most of my tongue, having part of my left arm to reconstruct it, and part of my throat was removed. That made eating impossible. So, I was also given a feeding tube, which is located on the left side of my stomach. I haven't eaten real food since January 2019. After that, I went into rehab for 2 weeks, and then I had chemotherapy and radiation for 6 weeks. My chemo wasn't too bad, being that it wasn't the regular kind, and I only had it once a week. But radiation was a bench, being that I had to lay down with a mask on my face and stay perfectly still for 20 or so minutes at a time. 5 days a week, which meant my mom and grandmother and I were forced to stay in a hotel for those weeks. We're from the south part of my state. My mom and I actually lived over the state line, and the hospital is 3 hours away, meaning we had to stay close during that time. Thankfully, you can get reimbursed for lodging and gas if you live far away, so we sent in receipts and they would pay us back. Fast forward, I also had a lung collapse, getting a chest tube to fix it and having it put back in when it disconnected. Blood clots in my arm which swollen up, and a biopsy of my lung and around my feeding tube to check places that showed up on a CT scan, making the doctors think it might have been cancer, which thankfully it wasn't. And the doctors did another CT scan a couple of weeks ago and the spots were still there on my lung and around my feeding tube. They wanted to do another couple biopsies to check once more, so they had to reschedule it, which for some reason they had to get it approved by the hospital, which we would get a call at a later date. Approved for the Tuesday before Halloween 2019, we head out to go. On the way there, my caseworker, let's call her D, calls my mother in the car. She tells my mom to get reimbursed for our trips, they need a 7-day notice to do so. They didn't give them a notice in the right amount of days, only 4 days notice, so we might not get paid back. After we get back from the trip, Dee and my mother were talking on the phone. Dee tells her that she tried to get them to pay, but she had no luck. Then she had the audacity to say to my mom, "Maybe you can get them to do it by calling them." Now you might be thinking, why hadn't I been talking to her? Well, I can't talk well over the phone to where they would understand me, and my mom had taken secretary classes or whatever in college. She does things of that nature. I was annoyed by Dee basically wanting my mother to call and get this taken care of. One being that my mother didn't make the appointment, the hospital did, which made them not have enough days. 2, we had been going to appointments for half a year, paying out a bunch of money to travel and stay in their city, and for my mother and whoever at the time was with us to eat, and having to deal with my body problems. Feeding tube leaks, me being malnourished, the pain I have all over, etc. 3, it was Dee's freaking job to fix it, not ours. But my mother doesn't make a fuss with doctors and people that are helping me recover, so she calls other people. This works out poorly. One number says call this number, the next says call this number, and then one number said call this number and have them do something and then call me back. Let's just say my mother gave up after the last number and just settled with it. Being the one that had to deal with cancer and the annoying recovery that has come with it, I wish I could talk on the phone to Dee. I'd come back after being told to call for her with, "That's fine, I will surely do your mother freaking job, seeing that you're incompetent, or should I say a lazy ABCD that can't do her freaking job. Though I should say, that paycheck you somehow magically get will now go into my darn bank account since a dip dookie like you doesn't deserve it since you're being a lazy bench, not trying harder at your freaking job." Since that can't happen, I thought I'd post my story here after seeing IDontWorkHereLady videos on YouTube. Hopefully this biopsy I got won't be more cancer, so wish me luck. Well, good luck, my Redditor. I hope everything goes well. And whatever D is, I hope you replace her because she seems like a very rude, mean person. But yeah, I hope everything gets better for you, you know. Cancer sucks. This story's called, How Do You Confuse a Kid for a Worker? Okay, I'll set the background. I was 15 at the time, and ever since a certain matter happened at one of my old schools, I went from an innocent goody two-shoes to a guy who doesn't give a crap what people think. Now, while I still have manners and care about people, I don't care if you think I look stupid or my artwork sucks. Or if you think I should help your fat butt look for calcium powder for your sentient scale noodles. So anyways, there's a PetSmart near where I live, and I loved going there to look at all the cute reptiles, especially the snakes. I love those cute noodles. So one day, when I went with my mom to PetSmart to pick up some dog food for our dog, I went to observe the reptiles, and in particular, the snakes. And then I hear a sudden, "Excuse me, child." I turn around and ask, while taking out my earbuds, and in my way is a massive quadruple chin, I'm not joking, lady with her Pomeranian in tow in her scooter. Me knowing basic etiquette for pet stores, I move out of the way for I think she wants to see the snakes. "Boy, what has service come to in this store? I need you to take me to the area with the calcium powder. I need it for my daughter's snakes." I look at her confused. "Ma'am, I don't work here. Ask one of the available cashiers or something. I don't know." My basic dismissal phrase, "I don't know." You rotten little, I know you work here. You're wearing a gray shirt. And you wearing that jacket is also very unprofessional. It's summer anyways. I always wore jackets, still do. I just like wearing them even in the harsh Arizona heat. Also, PetSmart employees wear blue shirts with slacks. And I was wearing gym pants as they're very comfy. How did this lady confuse me with an employee? I'll say this again. I don't work here. PetSmart employees wear blue, not gray. Also, this is a PlayStation shirt, not a work shirt. I pull back the left part of my jacket to show the PlayStation logo on my chest. You little child, I swear I'll get you fired. And? I love using that line. Always gets people mad. You don't treasure your job? Not really, as I don't have one. Yeah, you don't. You obviously know the power I have at this store. Do you even know who I am? I decide to get cheeky. Yeah, you do have power in the store, as they have to get management to kick you out for eating the dog chow. Quick crossover from r/am I the Dookie Sphincter? Am I the Dookie Sphincter for roasting her like that? Well, I never. And she legit slaps me. Not like a disciplinary one, like a full-on slap. War smack. Luckily for me, I used to be a softie when I got hurt, so I start to tear up, and even more luckily, my mom just came around the corner with the dog food and saw her slap me. She ran to my aid and smacked the lady. My mom has always been protective and has only sworn in my presence once before, and even then I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't hear it. But this time, Mama Bear just had a 20-hour nurse shift with crappy coworkers and a hostile work environment, and she was urinated. She slapped the lady back and cursed her out, calling her a fat lard and a freaking child mistreater. She then grabbed me by the hand and told her to never get within air-breathing room ever again. Mom picked up the dog food, bought it, and left. While we were leaving, the lady yelled, "But the child works here! You're stealing him!" I know that sounds fake, but I swear to Kami that's what she said. She took a cart and thrusted it at us. Well, as much as she could manage in her scooter. I heard it coming and simply put my hand behind me and stopped the cart. Mom must have heard that cart and she turned and death stared at her. Oh my god, I have never seen such a deadly scare from my loving mom. Even I got scared. Not for her though, but for the whole parking lot that would get caught in the crossfire if she tried my mom again. We left, and as compensation for being such a cool bean, we went and got some fast food from a place that I can't remember for lunch. I'm now in college, and that still makes me chuckle in the pit of my soul. Man, you got lucky that your mom stepped in, okay? I can tell. I know the warning signs, okay? That Karen was about to become an infinitely more powerful, a devastatingly more deadly quintuple-chinned Karen. There aren't enough decoy Nintendo Switches in the world to stop a quintuple-chinned Karen. We only barely managed to tame Mama June. There's no defeating her. This story's called Your Milk is Definitely Not My Problem. Here's the cast before we start. Me, Karen, and Dead Man. So this took place 3 years ago in the Netherlands when I was on an errand for my mom near the Albert Heijn, a Dutch grocery store. I was 13 at the time, and even though I was Dutch, I wasn't really that tall yet. So I was just standing outside the store, double checking if I brought enough cash according to my grocery list, when this English-speaking lady came rushing over to me. I could immediately tell she was American, but since I didn't know if read it yet, I sadly couldn't identify the Karen details in time. Remember, I am a 13-year-old tiny pole of a boy in the Netherlands. I don't know why she thought I could speak perfect English, but she immediately started spouting out some lines about milk in an angryish tone, which I didn't appreciate. Now, I know many people here say that they aren't good with confrontation, but I have ADHD and it has basically become part of my life at this point. I wasn't about to just receive incoherent yelling from some old hag in the middle of a street, so I just rudely shouted, "Hey! Could you slow down a bit, miss?" This clearly offended Karen, but at least I was able to understand her from this point on. This was the conversation. "How dare you speak to me like that? Are all kids in Holland so rude?" "Well, not really, but you were kinda shouting at me. Could you tell me what's wrong?" "Oh, so now you'll do your dang job. Listen up, boy, I'm gonna ask you one more time to carry my milk for me." Milk? What? I really don't understand. I don't think you know me. I think you have the wrong person by that. Well, of course not. Are you stupid? Is this why they positioned you outside for scouting instead of doing actual work? I'm not sure what you mean, lady, but I'm losing my pay. I told you not to talk back. Now come here and carry this. She dragged me by the arm to her car. At this point, I could see the prophesied milk she was talking about. It was 5 boxes of like 12 cartons at a time, which would never fit into her little rental car. Hey, don't freaking touch me! I was small but knew how to fight, so I wasn't threatened by some dinosaur easily. You disrespectful little brat, how dare you shout at me! At this point, people started gathering since cars don't really pass by often and you could clearly hear the shouting match. Dope Man got out of the crowd to confront Karen and this conversation followed. Mevrouw, is dit uw kind? Ma'am, is this your child? What? What? Speak English or leave, I'm busy. My apologies, but this child doesn't really resemble you. Why are you shouting at him? He works here and he's slacking off. I finally realized the misunderstanding and I was about to unleash a verbal can of whoop booty on this entitled B when Dope Man spoke up within 0.1 seconds. Miss, this child is clearly under the work age and has no uniform on. Please, let go of him. What uniform? The kid was checking some list for the store guts. Yeah, that was a freaking shopping list. Now let me go before I bite your wrinkles off. I was a brat. Bite me. People already started angrily confronting Karen and she immediately let go. Dope Man went to go get an actual employee and Karen got some help after being forced to apologize to my smug-looking butt. To this day, I don't understand why she thought Dutch employees stand outside for scouting with some goods list or whatever, but I guess I got away with it before being accused of stealing her milk or something. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.